Hi everyone, my name is Shi. This is my first video talking about being autistic, and I'm a bit nervous, to be honest. It's not the first time I make video, but this is the first time that I actually make video to talk about autism and myself being an autistic adult. And it has been some time since my last video, so I guess this may be one of the reasons why I'm quite nervous, right? Okay, first of all, I would like to start with a little bit introduction about myself so that everyone can actually have an expectation on how my video will be. Actually, I have a full-time job as a professional, so I'm a professional and I'm also autistic. One of the main reasons why I started to do the video is because I want to let more people know autistic individual, how we actually look like, and how do we live in the typical world. And it's not as what you think of autism. So that's the reason I started to make the video. And then I am from Malaysia. I'm in Penang. And English is actually not my first language. My first language is Mandarin, but I decided to speak English is because I attended some webinars talking about my autism, and then I realized quite a number of people, they are quite interested to know how do I find out myself being autistic. So I thought if I speak in Mandarin, then it will not be so universal. So in my video, I guess I will use a mixture of language because some terms, right, it's better expressed in Mandarin rather than English. So if it is such a case, then I will actually use the Mandarin terms so that people can understand better. And also because English is not my first language, so sometimes in my video, my grammar will not be accurate. So importantly, I just want to tell everyone my experience being autistic and some other questions that people find it interesting or they are interested to know. So that's my purpose. I just want to share my experience with other people, right? So so I am a late diagnosed autistic adult. It means I was not diagnosed as being autistic when I was small. I was missed. And then I just got my diagnosis early this year. And the first question that people used to ask me is, how do I find out myself as autistic? I mean, how do I know I am an autistic individual? What are the possible hints or what are the possible indicators that lead me to think myself having autism? I think that is the question that a lot of audience, when they attend the webinar I was in, they were quite interested to know. So I thought my first video, I'll start off with this. It was not too long. I try to make it short. I will only tell the main points, but it was quite an interesting journey for me because I never ever thought of myself as having autism. I never had this thought. I started with ADHD, to be honest. I thought I have ADHD, but before ADHD, before I knew anything about neurodivergence, I try my best to put in some conditions to what I experienced. I always had I wouldn't say a hard time, because some people, they have harder time, yes. I would say that sometimes I do not understand what I face and what I experience and what I feel, because it seems like other people do not really feel it. Other people means like my family or friends or my colleagues, whoever within my circle, they don't feel or they don't experience as what I experience. Sometimes I feel very intense emotion. Sometimes I feel discomfort. No matter is it physical or mentally. I mean, more on physical discomfort, but people don't have it. It's like they can live their life so easy. I mean, I wouldn't say it's easy. What I say is like it seems like they can juggle, and yes, they face some challenges, but they can somehow or rather adjust themselves. But it is very difficult to me. So when I see other people's life, and when I recall back my own life, I feel like I have a lot of conditions, so-called a lot of conditions. So before I knew anything about divergence, I have been trying to search for some medical conditions, some terms to explain my situation, to explain my experience. Like for example, I always have stomach discomfort. So I actually went to the surgeon, and then I did gastroscopy before. Waiting, in Mandarin we call waiting. I did twice, and the result was normal. And doctor actually diagnosed me with functional dyspepsia. So I was relieved at that time because I found a term. I found a term of functional dyspepsia to describe or to explain my situation. Then after that, I got this explanation, but after that, it seems like my body or my brain was not satisfied. They will have different conditions coming up, to actually kind of like disturb my life. I would recall it as disturb. I mean, now I don't feel it's disturbed, but at that point of time, I feel it's a disturb. I feel like my brain and my body try to disturb me. So I have been searching a lot of terms, like I have another terms, but I cannot recall in English, but in Mandarin it's called 纤维肌痛症 or something like this. It means like you will have a certain people, they'll feel the pain more intense than other people. So I describe it as, oh yeah, maybe I have this condition. So I always try to find the term to explain my condition, but it was not, it seems like it will not satisfy my brain. And then I happen to know about ADHD because of caffeine. I have caffeine intake, and it made me sleepy. I straight away go to sleep after I drink coffee. Then one of my friends actually mentioned something related to ADHD, and then I start to research about neurodivergence. That was the point of time that I started to know about neurodivergence. And then when I look through ADHD symptoms, I realized the hyperactive symptom actually, I meet all. I actually meet all the symptoms of hyperactive, component, but inattentive, not too much. So I thought that, ADHD, there may be two different kinds. I mean, there may be two so-called spectrum, or there may be a mixture, we call combined, right? So I thought, yes, I think I have, and this neurodivergence condition actually it explains, whatever that I feel, whatever I face, the situation that I experience all the while. So I thought, yeah, I think ADHD should be the one. So I tried to get referral letter. I went to the government clinics. In Malaysia, we have government clinics and private clinics. So government clinics, you need to get referral letter from the clinics, and then you can go to the hospital. So I tried to get referral letter, but the doctors actually did not believe that I have ADHD because I'm a high performer. For your information, I forgot to mention in my introduction just now, I have very high performance. No matter it's academic result or the performance at work, I actually perform quite well. And it's like it's not to say only well, I perform quite excellently, honestly to say. So the doctor did not believe it. Doctor diagnosed me as anxiety disorder. So they did not believe that I have any neurodivergence issue. So I started to have antidepressant at the point of time because I don't really, I don't have the ground to argue, or I didn't know the ground to argue that I have neurodivergence condition, because usually, as per our knowledge, neurodivergence condition will be diagnosed when the individual was small, right? When the individual display some symptoms during young time, then they will be diagnosed. So we don't really listen, or we don't really happen to know any divergence condition that will be diagnosed later at that point of time. So I thought, okay, maybe I need to try the antidepressant. So I tried. And then at a follow-up visit to the so-called specialist, but the specialist was family med specialist. It's not psychiatry specialist. So it's a family med specialist. He asked me about my friendship. How is your friendship and so on. Then I mentioned something like, I don't understand what my friends are thinking. I don't understand how to talk to them. I always seems to talk something wrongly, so I don't bother to have friends. That is my answer to him. And then he mentioned something like, it is more towards autism, I guess, rather than ADHD, but it's not too much. Why did he say it's not too much? Because I can do eye contact and I can follow the conversation of other people. Particularly is his conversation. I can follow his conversation. So he didn't feel that it is autism, even though the friendship thing matched the autism, so-called criteria or so on. So he mentioned something about autism, and that point of time I thought, oh, could it be autism rather than ADHD? Because when I researched ADHD, I actually researched also, I touched a little bit about autism, but the typical criteria, when I look at it, I thought, no, I'm not. I think I do not have autism. I am not autistic. I think so. Because the typical criteria is like, is used to diagnose those really higher level of autism. As what we know now, autism is known as autism spectrum disorder. We have level 1, 2, 3. So the typical criteria is matching towards the level 2 and level 3. So I thought, no, it couldn't be. I don't think I'm autistic. So at that point of time, I just skip the autism one. And when this doctor mentioned about autism, then I started to dig some research about that. I started to go and discover, what do we mean by autism and so on. Then I happened to see something that maybe I match it, right? But I still do not know much. I just happen to know a little bit and so on. And then until a point of time when I was having a workshop, I joined a workshop. When I was in the workshop, that was the very, very first time I actually felt very strong sense of autism traits on me. I have a post about that. I think I will share it, but the general story is something like this. When I was in the workshop, we were asked to do some activities, group activities. And then I thought I could understand what was the requirement. I thought I understand the requirement. Then I thought, okay, let's start doing it. But whatever answer that I gave, it seems like it was not the one that so-called matched with the requirement. And it was not the one that others can accept. Then they keep on saying that you are too specific. Then I say, okay, if I'm too specific, then can I clarify, are we talking about the general industry or are we talking about that specific company? Then they didn't answer this, but they keep on saying that my answer is too specific. Then when I try to answer about the industry, then they say this is not the correct point. So I got so confused at that point of time. I didn't know where is the part that I understand wrongly, what is the thing that I got wrongly. And even when the trainer sent something on me, she came and she tried to explain to me one more time, once again. I still didn't get it because I thought it is not logical for them to jump here and there and so on. So I was totally clueless. I didn't know what I'm supposed to do. And at that point of time, I felt that I wanted to shout at them. I wanted to shout that, what's wrong with my answer? I don't understand. What are you trying to do? what was the requirement? I don't understand what is wrong with my understanding. I thought at that point of time, I felt I want to shout in such a way, but I know I shouldn't be shouting. It's not professional and it's not polite, so I didn't. And that frustration and that sense of like urge to shout, right? It was converted to the urge to cry at that point of time. So immediately my tears started to appear, and it feels like the water pipe is open. It feels like it wants to come out, but of course I try my best to press it, and I went to toilet. So at that point of time, I really this was the first time I really felt and relate this situation, this experience to autism. Then I feel like, oh, can it be? Maybe it could be autism. That was the moment. Then I go and search more. I did a lot more research, and I saw some non-typical presentation, and I also happen to know about masking, non-typical presentation. The presentation of males will be different from females. The females one will be different from males, and some sort like this. And I started to uncover myself and thought, yeah, it can be autism. And another moment was I tried to get diagnosis as myself as an ADHD. I tried to get diagnosis of ADHD on myself, but I failed. That will be covered in another video, the road of my diagnosis, right? Anyway, I failed, and then I thought, it couldn't be only just purely anxiety disorder. So I was so upset. And at the point of time, I took the courage to actually share all my experience with my mother. My mother actually didn't know much about me. Since I was small, I keep everything to myself because I feel like when I try to tell anyone, it seems like it was very funny to them. It was ridiculous to them. And it's just that I think too much. So I keep everything to myself since I was small. So at that point of time, I took the courage to actually share everything to my mother. And I start to realize when I recall what I share, which I will cover in another video also. I don't want this video to be too long. Right? I recall that I mentioned a lot about I couldn't make friends. I had problem with friendship since I was small, preschool until now. I always have issue with making friends. I couldn't sustain my friendship. No, I shouldn't use I couldn't. I cannot sustain my friendship, even until now. So, when I recall, I feel like, oh, it matched autism quite well in such a case that I may have social issue. But having said that I have social issue, people will perceive me as very socialized, sociable. Is it socialized, sociable? People will perceive me as very good in socializing. I also found a trait on my socializing functions or my socializing skills, and that I think I will also mention about it in another video. But then when it comes to friendship and informal socialization, when I recall what I told my mother, I thought, yeah, I may have a problem with that because I always don't understand how to make friends, how to talk to a friend, so called. So that was the second thing that hits me to let me think, yeah, it can be autism. Maybe it is autism. Then let me just check my notes because I wrote everything down because I'm afraid that I will forget, and also I'm afraid that I go out of topic. So anyway, these two particular strong experience actually made me think it can be autism, and I also try to open up the possibility of not only ADHD And maybe it's not ADHD, but it's autism. But still, I actually didn't get my diagnosis yet when I realized it. It wasn't went so well. It wasn't went smoothly. But eventually I got it. Eventually I got it. I was very thankful because I think a lot of people, they couldn't really, get themselves diagnosed for whatever reason it is. And so that's how I found out myself as autistic individual. I have a lot of more experience to share as an autistic individual, but I think I will break it down in videos. In every videos, I will actually mention theme by theme. Like for example, I will mention about my friendship in one video. I'll mention about my steaming behavior in another video. I'll mention about my reaction when my schedule is changed suddenly in another video, and so on. So let's put this a start first, and my experience of finding out myself as an autistic individual is until here, and then how I got my diagnosis will be in the next video. Right, so until now, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.